Hello, it's Hayley again. This will be my 9th update video. Since my last one and my previous coming out at work video, a lot has changed, so I'd like to get straight into it. I've got 4 things I want to talk about today. The fact that my new IDs have arrived, and most of them are all correct now, which is great news. I will include pictures of that later on, for those of you that haven't seen them yet. I want to update you secondly on how coming out at work is going and has gone so far and continues to go, because it's not like it's just, I told them it's sorted. There's a few things coming down the pipeline which, I'm working with the company as best as I can to sort those out. Voice therapy and how that's going, I'll get into that, and about upcoming appointments, what I discovered from the session that I had on the 21st, so Tuesday this week, and then I'll round it out with just the little things, the updates to do with general life and that sort of thing. So looping back to point 1, I got my new IDs, which is great. They both finally come back correct this time. Just in case I haven't included it in other videos, I did have quite a struggle getting them back correctly. Passport has come back with the female gender identity in it, which is great, and they accepted the letter of support from my doctor. I've got the female gender marker in my new passport, which is really good news. I will include pictures of that later on, as I said, or insert them here. Driving licence has come back. Again, I'll include pictures showing the front of this further on, but basically it came back once and the name and title were correct, but they left the old picture on there. They tried to say that I had forgotten to include a picture, but as we both saw from my video about paperwork and applying for my new IDs, you could see clearly on the DVLA form, you could see on the back there was a clear window and you could see the writing on the back of the picture, so I know there was a picture included when it went away. So what they did with it, I don't know, but there you are. It came back with the wrong picture, I had to send it off again. That delayed everything by another 10 days. Passport came back, as I said, with the female gender marker, and it came back right first time, after initially struggling to get the paperwork correct in terms of getting it signed off for by my lawyer, who couldn't do it in the end, and then having to find another reference which slowed things up on that. That came back the same week as my driving licence, but it was the Saturday when it came back. Moving along to part 2, which was obviously about my coming out of work and how that's been going. It went quite well. I told them Thursday last week. We're now on Friday the 24th. Obviously they were surprised. I had the company director and another member of staff with me who I felt comfortable with. They came down and we discussed general stuff to begin with to do with the job, and then I told them my news and how that was going to change things and affect things. Obviously they were surprised. I've not broadcast to them in advance anything other than to that one manager that I mentioned previously. So they were obviously quite surprised. I did present them with my pack, which they were quite thankful for, in the sense that it gave them somewhere to work from and a frame of mind as to what I was thinking and hoping. As soon as my IDs came back, it enabled me to fire off an email on the weekend of that weekend, asking for the HR meeting. They scheduled it for the Thursday of the following week, which was last week now. The meeting went okay, as I say, but other than initial surprise, they asked quite pertinent questions about how it was going to affect as I thought they would, how it might affect the business and my role within the company. I informed them that I didn't really want my role to change and that I was happy to perform my duties as they are at present. However, the only considerations that I would like was just generally that my current shift pattern be kept as it is, with the Friday, Saturdays off, so I can schedule things around that and not have to worry too much about, you know, taking time off from work. It works out for us better that way for both of us, because they still get their, you know, 5 days a week out of me, and I still get a Friday off where I can, you know, schedule most of my treatments and appointments, etc., to help minimise impact on work. They agreed to this. I've since spoken with a HR representative. Now their usual HR representative is away, so they've got a temporary one in. So far I've only had one interaction with her. She's been really pleasant about it. She's drafted a letter or email which is going to be sent out company wide. She contacted me and asked for my permission to do so. I've agreed to that. There's also certain other considerations to be taken in, like the payroll, and in my case, because I work in an industry where security checks are required in the UK, you've got your police background check. She approached them and asked them, you know, now my depot and everything and IDs have been changed, what the status for that is. Apparently that needs to be redone, so we'll have to get onto that. It's too early to say what that involves yet. I've only found out in the last few days, so it's too early for me to say really what difficulties or not will be involved in that. I hope it's straightforward. The uniform was one of my major concerns. Initially they seemed, or the company director seemed quite reluctant, for want of a better word, to change anything with that. He said, oh, I believe the uniform's currently unisex and you just have to carry on wearing it as it is. I didn't feel that was the case, in the sense that while the tops might be quite gender neutral, although they're not great, they're gender neutral, whereas the trousers certainly were not. They were, you know, essentially combat pants with pockets all up, you know, the thighs and everywhere, and, you know, belt loops like this, you know, and there was nothing remotely feminine about them, and also the cut was wrong for them to be considered female trousers. I initially asked him if I could buy my own until they could sort something out. He seemed quite reluctant for me to do that. However, he did promise to get on to the company that supplies the uniform straight away and just check that they were gender neutral. Fortunately for me, they came back as no, they're not. The current uniform which we've been supplied is male orientated, so the trousers that I had were effectively male trousers, and therefore he was willing to change them out. I don't know what the female ones look like. I'm actually away at the moment, enjoying a week off, which was part of my coming out. I'm taking a week off to deal with things, so I'm actually not at work at the moment. He's sending out the new uniform to my house. I have no idea, as I say, what they look like. I mean, they could potentially be exactly the same, just with the button and the zip on the opposite side and a slightly different cut around the crotch, because that is essentially the only difference that's required. I hope they do look more different and don't have 25 pockets up the side and belt loops that you could, you know, use rope climbing gear on, but we'll see. The only other way I saw my transition impacting the company, lead time. Basically, I negotiated or asked of them that they respect their start times in quite a hard fashion, in the sense that I cannot roll out of bed and be at work 20 minutes later like I used to if I want to have any hope of presenting the way I am now on camera. It takes me, I am hoping to improve, but it takes me a very long time to get ready at the moment. Now, that is obviously my problem, and I'm still expected to be at work on time, and I will be. But what I'm saying is they can't ring me up an hour before work and say, can you come in early? Because I basically said to them the answer will be no from now on. I can't just roll out of bed and be at work 20 minutes later like I could do before. If they want me to be at work early, then they'd better, they're going to need to call me in advance, or inform me the night before, okay, we need you to be at X for Y time, and then I can work around that. Calling me, with less than an hour's notice, or a couple of hours in reality's notice, just isn't going to help, and I won't be able to make those last minute changes. They've agreed to that. I mean, that is the kind of consideration you can make for anyone, not just a transgender person. You could be, a single parent with children, and make the same sort of request that, please respect the hours that I work. And that's basically what I've asked them to do, that they know what hours I work to and from to. I am willing to do overtime, etc., as long as I'm notified, but I can't just do last minute changes. I need a bit of time to plan ahead, much the same as somebody else would, if they had small children, or a medical condition that they were managing, like diabetes or something like that. I need advance notice so that I can plan for getting ready and actually presenting the way I want to present in public. Voice therapy. Been really excited about it for quite a long time. It usually features in all my videos, like when the hell am I going to get some, and how am I going to get some, or previously I haven't been able to find anyone, blah blah blah. Finally I did find someone. This is the first bit of support that I've had from the NHS. As many of you know, I am self-funding, and been doing most of this stuff on my own. However, I have managed to get a voice therapist via the NHS. Initially when I went in, it went on a bit of a downer, because immediately she said, oh, I don't really understand, you've done a self-referral, which is fine, but I didn't really understand that you hadn't been seen by your gender clinic yet, because I have applied to Northampton Gender Clinic and I have a letter saying that I'm under their care. However, they've yet to send me an appointment, and that can take, well, it does currently take more than a year to get a place. So, I've only been waiting 9 months. This is my 9th update. So basically, I've still got a few more months before they even think about looking at my case. So she was like, unfortunately, if you want to be treated with us, you have to have a diagnosis of gender dysphoria, so that we've got something to work with, so that we've got a reason to treat you. Initially I thought, oh God, I can't wait, and I'll see you next summer then, basically. But she said that, well, you just, unless you can do it privately. And I said, well, hang on, I already have. And unfortunately it all turned round at that point. I was able to show her the letter that I got or my gender doctor, and she was able to show that she had diagnosed me with gender dysphoria. It's the same letter that got me my gender marker changed on my passport. So those letters, I used them to show that I have been diagnosed with gender dysphoria, and at that point she took that and the contact details for my doctor, and she'll use them to approve my treatment. So that was really good. The only other thing is, basically each lesson is about 45 minutes. So the first class, or it wasn't really a class, the first session was literally spent doing health questionnaires and trying to find out what I want from my voice and things like that. The examples I gave her were of, I've picked Claudia Black, Nigella. I mean, she's got a lovely voice. I don't have to tell anyone who's ever watched Nigella about that. And another one I said was like Liz Hurley, who's also, got a lower tone, husky husky sort of voice, and just, another super sexy voice, and I like it, and I'd like to be able to do something similar myself. She said it was good that my expectations were, realistic and all the rest of it. So based off of that, she then put a device around my throat that measures your vocal cords and frequencies. She had me speak a passage, which was in fact a poem about rainbows and prisms of light and things. It's a passage that I'm going to learn very well apparently, and I have heard of seen this on other voice training things, so I know of the passage. It's the two probes register your vocal frequencies, pitch, tone, duration, all the rest of it. It's quite interesting. She told me about like the normal height ranges. Women tend to be 180 hertz, start between 180 hertz and 210, and above, and more masculine voices tend to come from about 80 to, I think it was 130 or 120 as the normal range, or the two tiers. What you're aiming to do is bring, if your M2F is, you're aiming to bring your range up into that middle zone between the 120 and the below 180, to give you that feminine ambiguous tone. She said we're aiming for a frequency of about 160. If is a good range. I came in at the moment, I think I was at 108 or 106, so I was not as low as you can go at 80, but I wasn't a 140 or anything like that. So I've got quite a bit of work to do, but it's not all just about pitch and tone. It's about the way you speak the words. It's about cadence, the way things flow, and the way you breathe. And there's so much to it. And as I say, we haven't scratched the surface yet. I've got my upcoming appointments, and I know what I'm doing right up until June now, and and further ones beyond that as we go. So it's reassuring to know that I've started something, and hopefully next time we'll get into more practical stuff and the actual nuts and bolts of things, of how I actually start affecting these changes I want to see. Nice little changes that have happened. Just it's silly little things, like for example my handbag. Previously, I was always packing and unpacking my handbag, emptying my purse out, swapping keys and all this sort of thing. When I had to resume my previous role at work and things like that, I needed all the stuff that was out of there back into a wallet and a man bag essentially, and that sort of thing. It's just nice. I don't ever have to think about unpacking my purse again unless I want to change it into a new purse. And it's just little things like that are really nice, and being able to go to my wardrobe and just select clothes for the day that I know I can then wear all day, and then know that I'm going to do the same thing tomorrow and the day after that and the day after that, and not have to just divide my time between two worlds anymore is quite nice. Other little things that I'm still wrapping up. I went down the bank and changed my IDs down the bank on my cards. Most of them arrived correct, my cash cards etc. did. However, the thing that didn't was my credit card. Now I'm away on holiday, as I said, this week, and it is a bit of a bugger that my credit cards arrived, the name's correct, and that, but however they missed the title on there. They have realised their error. The thing is, it's the lead time. I mean, I went away on Tuesday, we're now on Friday. It arrived on the Monday morning because I'd only had a chance to change it when my IDs arrived the previous Saturday, and they said it can take up to 10 days. Things did arrive, but unfortunately it arrived and it's still got the old title on it, which really sucks, to be honest, and I've had to use it several times. I know no one can actually see it apart from me, but even that's enough. It really annoys me. They did apologise immediately, and when I'd gone down the bank they'd already actually sorted it. The thing is, they're now sending out, they knew, and they'd already sent out another new card the day before my current one arrived. So they knew their mistake, but sending it out on the Sunday when I'm going away on the Tuesday was no good. It should be at home for me, but obviously that's no good to me while I'm here on holiday. So it's a bit of a downer, but other than that, most things are changed and sorted now, and I don't have to constantly live between two worlds, which is really nice. And I can't actually say how nice it is to have my IDs and how nice it is to not have to worry about switching back and forth. I mean, at the moment I'm on a complete euphoria burst because everything's changed now and it's all good and I'm away. How long that'll last when I get back to work and the real world and things settle down and life becomes a reality in terms of dealing with people on a day-to-day basis who don't understand and negative things like that. Just all the little bits that are left over now. I've got to erase old email or transfer things from one email account to another. Things you don't even think about. Amazon, if you've got like an online subscription to a TV service, so like your Amazon Prime, your PlayStation, Xbox, iTunes, all that lot needs transferring over. All these things, they're not life-changing day to day, but they still need doing, or otherwise you're going to find you get constant reminders. For example, I'm away, I'm using a well-known holiday stay brand, and when I showed up for my room, despite the fact that, as I say, I came directly from voice therapy and was in much the same dress and garb as I am now, they asked me the reservation, which of course I hadn't remembered to change, so I then had to report in with my old name, right in front of other people that I was with. They've heard my old name before, but it wasn't pleasant for me to have to bring it up. So you really need to go back and do due diligence on yourself. Not everything that happens can be changed by other people. So a lot of the work related stuff, as I say, they've got HR department that are on that, and I don't have to do too much work. The IDs and that, obviously I had to do myself, as is right. Things you want to go forward with, you do need to remember to just go back and just correct all this. Once again, thank you for watching. I hope my updates prove useful to you as ever. If you like them, then please subscribe and like below. Also, you'll find me on Instagram and Google+. Thanks for watching. Bye!